Syndicalism is not the same as communism. In fact, it's better, more democratic, and actually puts power into the hands of the working class.
Why should I believe you when you want to get rid of private property like some kind of scumbag?
I bet he's comfortable hanging out with the totalists.
I don't play as a totalist. I don't want to plunge the world into dictatorship.
At least he isn't a totalist, but I'm still pissed off at a faction where Oswald Mosley can be a part of the so-called Workers' Coalition.
Mosley sucks! And so do Brother Foster and Velwa.
You still play as an anti-capitalist, so I don't see much of a difference with you. Denying people their property and the King of England his birthright is just scummy.
Yeah, syndicalist, communist, it makes no difference to me as far as that's concerned.
I expected as much from a bunch of freedom-hating Entente simps. The people of Britain kicked your precious royal family out for good reason and they don't want you back.
Who are you calling a freedom hater, you bastard?
Yeah, especially when reclaiming the birthright is such a compelling story. It feels noble, grand, like a true adventure, especially against syndicalism's mockery of democracy.
Birthright! You have no birthright. Who told you those lazy Windsors have any right to rule over Britain? Just because they were born into the office? Weak.
It still doesn't help that you took away the democracy and replaced it with labor union trash.
It's still a democracy, just more egalitarian and without big money sticking its nose in. Jesus Christ!
Okay, what silly shit are you nincompoops yelling about now? You woke me up.
We were arguing about which country is the best to play as in Kaiserreich.
Kaiserreich? Well, if you must know, it is obvious. My favorite country to play as is the Commune of France.
Damn it, another syndicalist! Why the hell would you choose to play as the Commune instead of the Republic? Are you insane?
It should have been obvious this Frenchie was going to do that. Just look at him. He's French.
Of course I support the Commune over that laughable thing they call a republic down in Africa. Those pretenders have no right to claim any authority over France. They are a bunch of deluded colonialists whose country should have collapsed long ago. The people living there are not even French, just oppressed colonials. Plus, they are led by that traitor Pétain.
How are they traitors? Are they not trying to stop the commies who took over their country?
Soldier, let me put it like this. Would you ever support an America led by Benedict Arnold, the man who betrayed George Washington to the Brits?
No, I would never let my beloved land of liberty fall into the hands of that frilly traitor.
Now you see where I am coming from. Pétain is to France what Benedict Arnold is to America, and the Entente working with him is something I simply cannot stand.
Yeah, but if you hate Pétain so much, can't you pick someone else?
The only alternatives to him are a bunch of royalists and stuck-up conservatives. Plus, their authority comes from a tiny bunch of military elites who are barely keeping the Africans from rebelling. Better to a proletarian democracy in France than a bunch of self-serving noblemen.
But what about being patriotic? That's my whole reason for doing this. And being a syndicalist is the opposite of patriotic.
Syndicalism started in France, both in the game and in real life. So yes, I am being patriotic by supporting them in their fight for freedom.
It still gives me flashbacks to Bolshevik revolution. How do we know things won't go the same?
It won't. And it also seems someone else was listening in on us. Care to explain what you're doing there, medic?
Oh, I heard you guys were talking about Kaiserreich. Kaiserreich is a mod that makes me so happy. I get to play as Germany in this time around. They are the good guys. No stinking Nazis to be found.
Good guys, sorry, medic. But I think that Russia has a duty to free its Western neighbors from the Reich. And before you ask, no, I don't play as Sovinkov. I prefer a democratic Russia.
Hey, I can respect you as a rival for trying to free the other Slavic countries from my sphere of influence. But as much as I dislike syndicalists, they're not as shit as the Entente.
What the fuck did you just say about the Entente, you little shit?
You heard me right. The Entente sucks. They are the worst faction in the game aside from the Japanese or the Turks. No, that's a load of shit. We're gonna free Britain and France from you bastards. It doesn't matter if we have to go through both you and the syndicalists. What do the people of Britain or France have to gain from welcoming back a bunch of washed-up colonialists who got kicked out of their own home countries? Edward and Pétain are losers.
As much as I hate to agree with the Kaiser Boo, he's right.
And need I remind you about the other shit people that the Entente can welcome into its fold? The fascist Brazilian integralists, the Carlists in Spain, military dictatorships in Argentina and Mexico. Not to mention the hunters in charge of Panama and Cuba, the segregation of South Africans, and the crap colonial government in India that the natives can't wait to get rid of. And there's also Metaxas in Greece and the Italian integralists, but they're useless since they're cut off from everyone else and surrounded by enemies. Oh, so things would not change too much for the syndicalists when I conquer them. I pick the SPD to lead Germany when they have elections, so they can have their workers' rights. Just no commie shit.
You may be picking the best path for Germany in that game, but you're still forcing capitalism back onto people who don't want it.
Oh, don't be a drama queen, Demo. Syndicalist overreach needs to be corrected for Germany's safety. And of course I'm not going to let a bunch of trumped-up revanchists take Alsace-Lorraine away from me. So much for being anti-imperialist.
That's real rich coming from you, medic, seeing as the Kaiser's buddies are just as autocratic and also created that creaky abomination called Middle Africa. Plus, you colonized Vietnam. That is a horrible idea no matter who does it.
I'll admit Middle Africa's ridiculous, but I'm just supposed to sit here and act like the Entente have Europe's best interests at heart. No. Western Europe is better off in the hands of a constitutional, democratic imperial Germany than it is under syndicalist mediocrity or your Entente has-beens.
And I pull your tongue back out through your arse for saying such things. This is starting to get out of hand. It's just a computer game.
Shut your lips, you commie traitor!
Hey, are you guys okay? I heard a lot of yelling coming from this room and I just wanted to make sure a tragedy wasn't unfolding.
We are talking about which countries are the best to play in Kaiserreich, and it seems to be striking a nerve here.
Of course the syndicalist bastard says that. He's just trying to make himself look like a victim.
Oh please, you imperialists just wouldn't stop escalating!
I might stand alone, but I stand tall. Sieg for Deutschland.
I will take you all on, the Reich. The Entente syndicalist. It doesn't matter. The American Caesar needs his American Rome, and it does not matter what country I have to go through to make it.
Can everyone stop for 1 second and let Angie speak, please? Who do you like to play as in Kaiserreich?
Me? I don't play much for ideology. I prefer playing hard and obscure paths to challenge myself and test my skill. My favorite path is actually the left KMT. Growing from a weak rebellion on a small coastal province to uniting a democratic China and kicking Imperial Japan in its balls makes me feel like I've truly mastered the game. Though I also like to do other difficult paths like rebelling against the Turks as Egypt or Arabia and the anarchist rebellion in Argentina. Transamore is also a fun pathway I like to play simply for the challenge. It just feels so rewarding to knock over a bigger country and succeed against the odds.
I think Angie has the right idea. We've been getting so wrapped up in ideology that we've turned into a bunch of savages.
Yeah, that's an admirable way to play the game. And if you can do all of that, you're probably the best player here.
So you play small countries and like to knock over bigger ones. That's odd, but it does take skill.
The syndicalist China thing still weirds me out a bit.
Social Democrat China, with democracy, free elections, social security, fair markets, and an Asia free of imperialism, Japanese or otherwise.
Okay, that actually sounds good. If only China was like that in real life. And it is nice to see someone here who's a wild card, not to connect it to any factions.
My advice, just play outside of your comfort zone and give the more obscure countries some love. No matter what faction they belong to. Play in Africa, Asia, or South America. Have a syndicalist playthrough, or act playthrough in an Entente playthrough. Do what you think is best, or worst. After all, there's no shame in an evil playthrough every now and again. Namely, as in that pulp or totalist country. Just keep an open mind and play the game to its fullest. That's all I have to say.
You know what? That's actually pretty sage advice. I can't believe I spent all this time with a stick up my ass.
So, I propose something to get you boys to broaden your perspectives. We can have a Kaiserreich land party and we're all going to play on the opposite side we usually play. And each side is to play the game as if they are still the good guys. So I don't want to see any now pops or totalists running around on this one playthrough, okay? All right, boys, good luck and good hunting.